Hey folks, Gary here. Hey, hope you're having a fantastic Friday morning. Yesterday we looked at the prodigal son. We're looking at God's unconditional love for us, and we looked at the prodigal son and how God had forgiven him. Well, the father had forgiven him, who represents God in that parable, had forgiven him for all the things that he had done. Now he had blown it horribly, made massive mistakes. Actually, didn't make mistakes, made massive on purposes. He did a whole lot of on purposes that were not very good. And but his father forgave him because of his unconditional love and restored him back to the place he always should have been. Restored him right back to that same position as being his son with all the benefits and privileges of that. Well, there's another son in that story. There is the older brother as well. And we don't usually focus very much on him, but the older brother's having a lot of problems with this. And so we find his story in the same story in Luke 15, verses 25 down to 32. We find the story of the older brother, and the older brother is ticked. He is ticked right off. Why? Because he sees the father pouring out all of this undeserved love upon the younger brother. Like I said, the younger brother has been quite despicable. And so the older brother he is just about this and basically saying, I've never felt that love. Why would you pour out all this love on the younger brother who's done all these things, but you've never loved me the same way? And the father tries to reason with him and say, no, I have. This love has always been there for you. It's always been there. You just haven't received it. Why hasn't he received that same love? Well, we see that the older brother has been living like a servant. He does everything his father asks, and that's good. Like anything his father says, hey, would you do this? Would you do that? He says, yes, and he gets it done right away. He does all the things his father has asked him to do. He is a fantastic son, but he's living like a really good servant. He's not living like a son. He's not living with the relationship of a son and a father. And the father says, son, the love has always been there for you. Is there a lesson for us to be learning here? Yes, there is. A lot of times we get really, really busy and we do so many things trying to earn the love, trying to earn the love from God, thinking if I am just good enough, if I get everything done, if I go on my missions trip, if I get that done, or if I witness to people, or if I give all my money to the poor, that kind of thing, or if I tithe all the time, or if I do Sunday school, or play on the worship team, or do sound, or we got all these lists of things. If I check off all those things, then obviously God will love me a lot. Like he'll really love me, but it doesn't work that way. Now, all those things are important. You should tell people about Jesus. Jesus is amazing. If you have talents, you should use those talents because you come alive as you do it. So that's really, really good. But we don't do those things to gain the love of God because you can't. His love's unconditional. He's just freely given to you. You do those things because of the love of God that dwells inside of you. God's love is poured into you and it pours out onto others. That's why we do the food bank here. That's why we're doing the kids ministry Wednesdays after school. That's why we do the Christmas banquet. That's why we do things in the community and we take care of those in the church. It's because of the love that God has already put inside of us, and it needs to go somewhere. So we pour it out into the community. And we also do it because God loves us and we want to please him because we've experienced that love. And so the actions you do are because of the love that God has already given to you. That's the way it's supposed to work. Not to earn it, to receive it. And the older son, he never experienced it because he wouldn't just simply receive it. He thought he had to earn it. You don't have to earn God's love. It's unconditionally poured out on you. So live like a son. Don't live like a servant. Live like a loved son and daughter.